She told me right from wrong. She told me love was at first sight. That's my first song. She told me how to share. Oh, she told me the Lord's Prayer.
Meet Vickers and Vincent Peters, brothers living in Heidedal, a typical South African township, separated from the Free State city of Bloemfontein by colour and economics. In recent times, Vickers has made local headlines, thanks largely to his musical talent. And who better to endorse this talent than DJ and Idols judge Gareth Cliff, who has been involved in bringing Vickers to the South African front page.
He has an appeal for screaming teenage girls, like Justin Bieber would, but he can quite easily make a couple of tables of 80-year-olds at a birthday party feel like they're the most important women in the world.
Who would have thought that a young boy sitting on this very couch 7 years ago, strumming his guitar, would get global music executives scrambling? It's a tale that began 7 years ago. A neighbour recorded Vickers, aged 10, playing guitar and singing in his lounge.
I hear the sound of your heart, Peter. Don't say a word.
It spread around Heidedal until a few years ago when it was posted on YouTube. US industry executives had meanwhile seen the clip and evidently recognized an unusual talent, as seen in this appeal posted on Facebook.
A&R for Epic Records, Sony Music Entertainment. I'm contacting you because I need your help in trying to find a young man that we recently discovered on YouTube. He is about 10 to 12 years old and goes by the name of Vickers. We believe that his talent is amazing and would love to offer him a major label recording deal.
Omar is a talent scout and with a colleague travelled to South Africa just to find Vickers. From the little tin room he shared with his brother in Heidedal, his life was about to change. Which was a little ironic because Vickers said he had to be forced into music in the first place.
I wanted to play soccer, in fact. So my mother forced me. She said, you must sing, because she heard me sing once. I was singing while the family was singing. I was singing in the background. From that moment on, she wanted me to sing.
His older brother Vincent was more of a singer than Vickers.
Vickers was a good soccer player, and what happened, he didn't want anything to do with singing at that stage of his life. So what happened, I went to him and I asked him to just sing with me, and it was a big argument between me and him. He was like, no, I'm not going to sing in front of people.
With no cinemas in Heidedal and the trip to the city too expensive, talent shows are an integral part of life in the township.
So my mom finally convinced him to sing with me at the talent show. So what happened was, since that day, we won every talent show as a duet.
The boy's mother, Elsie Peters, said she always knew that both of her sons had talent.
I like that group, Westlife. And one day I told them, when I see you there, like that, then I can die. I just want the Lord to save me to see you there on that stage, that high places, where the crowd is around them.
But Elsie's life hasn't always been filled with music and promise. The boy's father was a groundsman at the local stadium, and they lived on the premises. She says the boy's father drank too much and had regularly abused her.
It was so difficult the last time that he closed up the doors, that when I come from work I can't get in. And one Saturday afternoon, Vincent asked me, why are you coming back every time to this house? Why are we not moving away from this home? And that day I make my decision for me and for the children. And then I decided to divorce.
My father used to beat me, so that's why I got involved with fighting and gangs and smoking dacha.
There was a lot of real hardship to endure and overcome. And his family have been phenomenal, particularly his mother, but also his brother, who dropped out of school and then went back to school so that he could set the right example for Vickers.
It looks like you've got a really strong bond with your brother.
Very, very strong. I consider Vincent to be more than actually my brother. He's more like my best friend, although we argue a lot about music and stupid stuff like brothers do. But he's actually more than just my brother. He's my friend. He's more like a mentor.
And I see you've got each other's tattoos on your
arms.
I
got his name right here. That's to remind me that I'll share my passion for music with him always.
Meanwhile, the American Talent Scout's search for Vickers had proved fruitless. They wrote to Gareth Cliff, asking for his help in locating him.
We put it out on Facebook and Twitter, and I did something on the radio show too on 5FM. And we just said, if anybody knows anything about this guy, please get hold of us.
The hunt for the young boy was gathering pace, as recalled by Bloemfontein OFM DJ Eric Snyders.
I saw a tweet from Gareth. He was looking for some singing sensation. So there was a link to a video that was attached to that particular tweet. So I went on it and I was like, hey, I know this boy.
2 days later, local tabloid The Daily Sun picked up on the search and ran it as a front-page story. Gareth had meanwhile asked his manager and business partner, Rena Brumberg, to get involved. She said it was a media circus and that once it was known they had found Vickers, they were inundated with offers.
We got from Atlantic, from Universal, from Sony International. There were people who wanted to get him onto the Ellen DeGeneres show and Oprah, and it was just too overwhelming.
It was just crazy in my house. I've met people like I've never met people before, with a lot of cameras. People want to shoot you, you know. It's MTV, then it's Sony, then it's this guy and his record label, then it's newspapers, it's magazines offerings.
The first guy that had come from Sony, he sort of isolated Vickers from everyone else.
Eric knew the boys from the Haydedal talent shows and was worried about the hype surrounding them. So when he was contacted by Rena, he pleaded with her to fly down.
And Eric begged Rena. He said, listen, what's the price of a plane ticket? And she said, I don't know, 3,000 Rand. And he said, what's the price of somebody's life? And she got on the plane immediately.
I wasn't sure if this was the star the world was looking for, but I definitely saw the potential.
Gareth phoned me. He said, Rena is coming to you, Elsie, but you can trust that lady with your whole life.
You know, Rena has also been a social worker in her previous life. So she understood something of the psychology of this problem, and that all of this attention could have been extremely detrimental to a 17-year-old who's perhaps not used to terribly much and suddenly has the world's attention.
Remembering that they had actually located Vickers for the American Talent Scout, Gareth says they immediately told them that they had found him.
If they'd come there and then, I think we could have struck a deal and Vickers would have been on his way to record in New York. As it turns out, they sent contracts and things.
We suddenly became concerned about this kid being exploited.
They'd originally only known Vickers as a young boy on the YouTube video. Gareth said their priority became the well-being of this now accomplished 17-year-old.
Question of his education that we needed to resolve before we started talking about business or contracts or deals.
It must have been so confusing for you to know who to trust when you've got a deal in America on one hand and being mentored and guided in South Africa on the other. How did you make that decision?
To get the opportunity to go straight from here to there, being a star, was a very big thing, you know. I think I read that contract about 4 or 5 times before I actually made the decision. I saw it's more than just this contract. If I sign this now, I'm either signing my life away or I'm signing my career here.
With Elsie's blessing, Rena moved Vickers, Vincent and their sister to Johannesburg. With homeschooling and recording now top of the agenda, Rena secured a promotion deal with longtime friend and legendary music promoter David Gresham, who says Vickers has a distinguishing factor.
As the person and the strength of personality, he has it. And that's probably going to be what gets him to the top of the ladder eventually.
The job for David's team is now to teach Vickers how to work in a studio, where he will develop his own style and just maybe record that hit.
Hopefully we can record a track that'll create enough interest for someone to say, hey, wow, who is this?
We became lovers.
Whatever happens, for everyone involved, the story of finding Vickers has been monumental.
In your experience as an Idols judge, is there anybody that has this type of talent?
I'm going to get into so much trouble, but no. Vickers knew Idols existed, but he didn't want to go on it. He didn't want to be with everybody else. I think he knew deep down inside there was something that set him apart.
I know proud is not the word. If there's a better word for proud, I'm the proudest mother in this whole South Africa now.